Hi everyone, hope everyone's enjoying their day, and if you're watching this video for the first time, then my name is Marianne Hanson. I'm a counsellor and a coach. I specialise in the areas of relationships, depression, stress and low self-esteem. So with everything that's going on in the world, we can obviously try to do as much as we can to separate ourselves from what's happening, to just continue to get into our routines and that sort of things. But I would say that this is a good time for me to make this video, only because there was a lot more inquiries coming forward to me from people who were just struggling with the whole concept of being told they have to stay in, knowing that they can go out for short walks, but feeling it's almost as though, even though, you know, we've been given guidelines of what we should do, and you know, it's the other stuff that's coming in with the adverts and the constant seeing stuff on Facebook and social media means that people's minds are kind of wired to the point of, yes, you can go out, but you can't go out for too long, or if you go out more than once, then someone's going to see you and report you, and it's just the whole, if everyone else is also doing the same thing, then you don't want to be that person not to. And what I want to talk about in this video is what to do when you feel like giving up. So this isn't just related to what's happening, this is just on a general note, where you just feel like too many things are going wrong, nothing's working out for you, and you're just at that stage where you just want to give up. So life can be hard, relationships can fall apart, money worries, bereavement, job losses, etc. There's so many lists of things that can happen to someone throughout their life, and a lot of those things you're not in control of. So it can be hard to stay positive and motivated. Now, I'm someone that I'll go through ups and downs with stuff, but I'll try to keep a strong mental, what's the word called? I made a video about this the other day, keep having mental strength. So I try to stay stronger mentally. And the reason for that is because there's only me, I live on my own. Even though I've got a big family and I have like lots of friendships and things like that, if I go to pieces or if something happens with me, then that's, you know, I've got no one else to rely on to help with that. So I always think to myself, you know, if I lose my job or if I become sick, like whether it's physically or mentally, that would just be not the end of the world, but it would just be too much like pressure then on me as a person, and I don't want that. So I just try to stay motivated and try to build up my mental strength like on a daily basis. So things like depression and mental illnesses and suicide are on the increase. So what it's important to do is to recognise when you are getting to the stage where it's not just having a low day or not just feeling down, but you are really at the stage now where you are feeling overwhelmed and you're just contemplating, you know, things that you were not thinking about before. It's not about judging yourself either. If you're having a day where you just think, I don't want to be here anymore, or I've had enough of this, or this stress is too much for me, or you just feel like you have to cry for that whole day, then, you know, it's about not criticising yourself for feeling that way, but it's about what you do afterwards. So I made a video called It's Okay Not to Be Okay, and then I put brackets sometimes. And the reason I made it, have I made the video yet? I might not have even made it yet. The reason I said it in that way is because it's not about being in a situation and then staying there and being stuck, especially if it's a negative situation. The whole point is that you're there. It's about looking at how I can get myself out of this situation. When I feel like giving up, when I feel like there's no hope, what is there for me, or what can I do about it? You know, so it's not about staying stuck. It's not about continuously saying this is the end, there's nothing more I can do. But there are times where you're going to feel like that, and that's okay for you to feel that way. So I'm going to give you 4 tips. These are just tips that I want to give you as a counsellor, but also I just feel on a personal note, we all need sometimes just guidance. We just want someone to say, well, this might help, or that might. It might not work for you. It might not be a strategy that you think will suit you, but I just want to give you these tips anyway. The first one that's really important is to talk. Reach out. Don't keep your feelings to yourself. Now, I'm someone that, I probably am someone that does just get on with things. I don't often like phone family or friends and say, I'm really stressed about something. But the other day I did that. I was stressed about work. I was going for a walk, and then I phoned my sister and I had a brilliant talk to her. She just made me feel like listened to. And when you feel heard as a person, the feeling that you have, it's like a burden is lifted. when you keep feelings to yourself, especially negative feelings, they can feel overwhelming. But the minute you talk, so whether it's to a counsellor, to a friend, to a family, reach out, talk to someone. It means you're getting it off your chest. You're saying it. It's no longer on your mind. It's just so important to talk about how you're feeling. It's the reason I think a lot of people end up taking their own lives, and I can speak on this because I've had experience of this with a family member, is because they don't talk and we don't know what's happening with them. So we assume because they're happy or they're smiling or they're getting on with it that everything's okay, and it's only afterwards that you realise it's not. So talk, don't keep your feelings to yourself. If you don't feel comfortable talking to someone, write it down. Write a little note for someone that you trust and give them the note. When another family member of mine was stressed and they were just in a really bad place and they were struggling with anxiety, I wrote them a note. And what I did is I couldn't get the note to them. So what I did is I screenshotted the note, sent it to them on WhatsApp, and they read it. They eventually read it, and then they came back to me and said, I really appreciated you sending it to me. And it was I just wanted them to know that I'm thinking about them, and this is, a letter for you, really. The number 2 thing is to think about and write down all of the reasons not to give up. We can always think of reasons to give up and to stop being positive or to stay in this stuck low mood. But think of all the reasons not to give up. And you can start with little things like your family would miss you if you gave up on your life. If you give up, you're not going to reach your full potential. If you give up, it means you're not having enough belief in yourself. So it's saying that you give up on yourself, not just the situation. If you give up, it's not going to be a challenge. I'm the sort of person, if a challenge comes along, I'm usually think, right, this is the worst thing that could happen. So what's the solution? Everything that happens, there's always solutions to it. So if you give up, you'll never know. And also you've learned things from when you're in a bad situation and you find a solution, you learn from it because you say, oh, that happened and it wasn't the end of the world. When my car broke down, and it's happened about 3 times, and the worst time was the last time because it was in rush hour. It was late at night. It was, what's happening? Yeah, so I was on a dual carriageway. It was late at night. It was pouring down with rain. It was just the worst possible time it could happen. But in the end, it worked out. And then I thought to myself, at least I know next time I'm in this situation, I won't panic, because I didn't panic then, and that was quite bad. The third thing is to focus on the present while knowing that everything changes. So from moment to moment, nothing stays the same anyway. So if you give up too soon, you might miss out on a great opportunity. So do you remember the story? If you've read the book, oh gosh, there's so many books. I'm going to try and remember it. I think it is, I can't remember it. That's so embarrassing. It's not Rich Dad, Poor Dad. What's the Think and Grow Rich? See, I knew it would come back to me. It talked about a man that was digging and digging and digging for gold. He was digging for days and days for gold. And then he just thought, oh, I'm never going to find gold. So he gave up. And then it showed a picture of he was about an inch or a metre away from gold, but he gave up too soon. So things change, and we don't know what's around the corner. So this is when I work with people with depression. I say to them, how you're feeling now, you're not going to feel the same in an hour. Or even if you feel the same in an hour, you're not going to feel the same in 6 hours. You're not going to feel the same tomorrow morning. So my thing is always give it 24 hours. I don't usually, if I go to bed at night, I don't wake up in the morning feeling the same way as I felt on the night. So what we have to recognise is if you give up too soon, you'll never give yourself a chance. And the final one is to reflect on how you have got through a similar situation before. What are your strengths? What are your networks? What resources did you use before? There's always a time in our life where we hit like a roadblock, and we think we're never going to get through this. That's it. I'm giving up. I've had enough. I can't do anything more. But there's probably been a similar time in your life where you felt the same way, but you've managed to work through it. So think about that. So giving up is sometimes, I don't think it's an easy option. I don't think anyone that either decides on taking their life or anyone that just feels so down that they just give up on life altogether is an easy option. I don't think you're a weak person. I don't think it's, there's any judgment on it. It's just about saying that you can do it. You can, you know, when you feel like giving up, you can find strength. You can find something to stop you from doing that. So I hope you found this video useful. Please feel free to like if you liked the video, to leave any comments, to share this video if you feel it will benefit anyone else. And I just want to say thanks again to all of my subscribers. I really appreciate each and every person that watches the videos and that leaves your comments. Thanks guys, and have a great afternoon. Bye.